Our next guest was in the room calling out the Biden administration's failures and what those failures cost the United States. For more on this, let's welcome in New York Congressman Mike Lawler. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. Now, we heard Blinken in there. Do you feel that he took any responsibility for the events that occurred in August of 2021?
No. And, after 3+ years of obfuscating, refusing to take accountability, yesterday really was the icing on the cake. Trying to shirk responsibility, blame Donald Trump and his administration for negotiating the Doha Agreement, which was the basis for the withdrawal. But what they failed to recognize is that the Doha Agreement was conditions-based, and the conditions on the ground had deteriorated so badly that you saw the disastrous result, including the death of 13 U.S. service members. And as I said in my exchange with the secretary, this is his legacy. The disastrous withdrawal in Afghanistan resulted in the chaos and destruction that we see around the globe. We are in the most precarious place since the lead up to World War II because of this administration's failed foreign policy and the weakness that Putin, Xi, the Ayatollah, and others saw as a result of this disastrous withdrawal.
And you mentioned Blinken's legacy. Where does this withdrawal leave Biden's legacy?
In tatters. The fact is that Joe Biden will go down as one of the worst foreign policy presidents in the history of our country. This is someone who spent 50 years in Washington, touted his foreign policy expertise. The world is less safe today than when he inherited it just 4 years ago. And that says a lot, given that we were in the midst of a global pandemic. But you look at the results, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the terrorist attack against Israel, the illicit oil trade between China and Iran, the threats from China in the Indo-Pacific. It has been one catastrophe after the next under this administration.
Yeah, not to mention the border and everything that's happening here in the United States. I want to take a look at your state of New York. Daniel Penny was acquitted in the chokehold death of Jordan Neely, and now you're calling out Alvin Bragg. Do you think that Governor Kathy Hochul would ever remove him from office?
No, unfortunately not. She's weak and feckless and ineffective. The fact is, Alvin Bragg never should have brought this case. Daniel Penny was a good Samaritan, someone who has served this nation as a Marine and was simply trying to keep fellow strap hangers safe. This is someone in Alvin Bragg who charged Jose Alba, the bodega worker, who was defending himself with murder. And obviously, we know of the lawfare engaged against President Trump. Alvin Bragg is wholly unfit to serve as Manhattan District Attorney. He has disgraced the office, and he should be removed as per the New York State Constitution, which gives the governor the exclusive authority to remove Alvin Bragg as district attorney. She should do so immediately. Sadly, she won't. And that's why in 2026, there's going to need to be changes in New York.
So then I have to wonder, is Governor Hochul really serious about tackling crime in New York and what we're seeing happening in this city?
No, of course not. It's all window dressing. Look, the fact is, if you were serious about this, you would repeal the disastrous cashless bail law, which will go down as the single stupidest piece of legislation that has ever been enacted into law anywhere in the United States. You would allow law enforcement to do their jobs, including going after 16 and 17-year-olds who use guns in the commission of a crime and are treated in family court as opposed to criminal court, which means you would repeal raise the age. And on top of that, you look at the issue of gun violence. 80% of gun crimes in New York City, the individual is released back out onto the street. So if they were serious about prosecuting gun violence, they would do so. And unfortunately, they're not. Kathy Hochul has failed miserably. Violent crime is up in New York, continues to escalate, and we see the results.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.